Greetings, it's Ian from RTO here. Welcome to Tuesday. Bit boring out there, bit of wind. We've expected snow apparently this week. Who knows? Anyway, we have reached the final part of the Jack White story. And the last band we're going to look at with Jack is the Dead Weather. And again, it's one of those super groups. Now, this one is actually made up of a member of the Raconteurs who we looked at last week, Jack Lawrence. And in this band, we've got Alison Mosshart of the Kills and Discount and Dean Fertitta of Queens of the Stone Age and Carano and Iggy Pop, no less. So how were these reformed? Well, the Raconteurs were performing in Memphis, Tennessee. Jack lost his voice and the band asked Alison to step in, and she sang lead vocals on Steady As She Goes and Salute Your Solution. White later asked if she would record a song with him and Jack Lawrence, and the rest is history. I don't know if they're still going, but like most things with Jack White, they're always ongoing. Up to date then, we have had 3 albums from the Dead Weather. So, coming in at number 3, we have the second album released in 2010, and it's called The Sea of Cowards. We've got Alison Mosshart on lead vocals, maracas, rhythm guitar and synthesizer. Jack White does drums, vocals and guitars. Dean Fertitta does lead guitar, organ, piano and synthesizer. Jack Lawrence, as ever, on the bass, and he does play drums as well. So the first track on here is called Blue Blood Blues. The trouble is you don't know who's playing on each track, so it's a really big guitar riff. The bass sounds good. It's a great vocal from Jack. We know he's singing on it. It's an absolute killer track. Hustle and Cuss. Oh, this has got a great bass line on it as well. But we know it's Jack Lawrence doing the bass lines. Really good bass line. The drumming on this is really good. I'm not quite sure who does the drums. I've got an idea this could be Jack. It's really good. A great vocal from Alison. It's a bit gritty. It's got a bit of effect on it. Pretty good. The next track is The Difference Between Us. Not my favourite on the track. It's a little bit disjointed for me. It's okay, but I wouldn't go and put that track on time and time again. I'm Mad. Very strange start. I'm mad, so it's going to be a bit weird. It's okay. I wouldn't jump for joy on that one. My favourite track though is Die by the Drop. There's something about this. The guitar's good. It's raw and cheap. It just really adds to it. It really is a good track. I Can't Hear You. Not a bad guitar. Some good guitar work on this one as well. Gasoline. I like it. It's not just so. Then it goes into a frenzy and then comes back down into it. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's one of my favourite. That bit of paper is annoying me. Next up is No Horse. It's okay. It's got some nice guitar bits. Looking at the Invisible Man. It's got some horrible, irritating background noise on it, and it's probably one of the worst tracks by the Dead Weather. Jawbreaker, solid rock track. Then Old Mary. It's a good track, but it doesn't really fit on with the rest of the album. On the whole, it's a pretty good album. There's a couple of tracks on here that I'm not a particular fan of, and that's why it's at the bottom. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 6 out of 10. Okay, then coming in at number 2 is the third album that came out in 2015, and it's called Dodge and Burn. First track on this one is called I Feel Love. Nothing to do with Donna Summer and in brackets Every Million Miles. Once again, it starts off with an absolutely killer riff with a killer bass line. I really like that track. Buzz Killer. Alison's vocal is really good. I think she's got a great voice for this style of music. Bit gritty. There's some hollowness on the drums, but it really works with this. It echoes. It's a really strong track. Let Me Through comes next. It's too busy, too much going on. You can't concentrate on one bit. There's too much. $3 Hat, some great drumming on here. Jack Lawrence's bass line booms. It's a real dirty killer track. Lose the Right, very raw, plug in and go. It's a great vocal between Jack and Alison on that. My favourite track on here is called Rough Detective. The guitar riff again is just unbelievable. A fantastic vocal from Jack. Absolutely dynamite track. Open Up, That's Enough. It's not too bad. One of the weaker tracks for me on this album. Be Still. It's got some really good keyboard in here. The drums are a little bit tinny, but you don't notice it so much because you've got this rich keyboard. Mile Markers is next. A really interesting track. Tinny drums again. They've got this tinny sort of sound on this album, but it doesn't distract you from the track. Cop and Go. I like this. They've changed the drums a bit. It's a bit more heavier and a bit more oomph behind it. Really good track. It's Just Too Bad. It's a nice track. It's a nice arrangement. Some nice little bits of guitar. Great vocal from Alison on that one. Impossible Winner. A really good track. Probably one of my favourite songs that Alison sings on. And I love the keyboards and strings mixing well on that one. That was the last track. Another really good album. It's got some solid tracks on it. A couple that I'm not keen on again. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 7 out of 10. But my number one is their debut album that came out in 2009 called Horehound. First track on this one, 60 Feet Tall. I love this. Absolutely brilliant. It takes a little while to get going, but once it does, boy is it good. The guitar solo on it is just fabulous. No doubt it's one of Dean's. Hang You From the Heavens. Gritty riffs. Punky sounding. Great vocal from Alison. I Cut Like a Buffalo. I love the start of this. It's got this Hammond organ sound, richness, some nice delicate effects with guitars on this. Very good track. So Far From Your Weapon. Very melodic for them. It's got lots of keyboards on it and it's a great vocal from Alison. Treat Me Like Your Mother. Interesting vocal from Jack. And you get Alison doing some backing on it. It's a good little rocker though. Excellent. Rocking Horse. Some rich psychedelic sound on this one. I love the pace of this one. It's sort of nice and just a lovely pace of the song, and the psychedelic sound of it is really good. New Pony. The great guitars. The great bass line from Jack. Absolutely killing. Bonehouse. Not my favourite album on this. It's a little bit disjointed for me. Three Birds. This is one of them tracks that the hollow drums work well with Jack Lawrence's bass line. He sort of, because he's got a rich bass line, it does get behind that drum and got some more freaky guitar psychedelic tones on this absolutely brilliant track. No Hassle Night. My favourite track on here. It's got a nice talking on it. It's got a moving. The keyboards are really good on this. That's why I like it. Will There Be Enough Water? Interesting track. 6 minutes. It's got some lovely keyboards on this, and the drum beat is good. My second favourite track on it. I just think it's brilliant. Apart from that one track, I think this is a brilliant album and a great solo album from some very talented musicians. It's got all the different sounds on this, and that's why I like it. So I'm going to give this an RTO ranking of 8 out of 10. So there we go. That's covered Jack White. I quite like Jack White's work. I think he's a very talented guy, and look forward to the next project from Jack. So we start a new story next week, and if you want to know what it is, there you'll find out on Thursday when I reveal or Friday when it comes up in the what's on next week. Okay, coming up next we have got retro ranking, and we've got something really interesting. We're going to do Glenn Miller. I'm going to pick my favourite Glenn Miller tunes. Yes, I do like Glenn Miller, and there is a reason why, so join me for that later. Bye for now.